because I've been on it before, but I didn't think it was because I was a premium subscriber. But listen, anyways, Nate isn't here yet, but I think we just
Like a premium subscriber on X.
no, not anymore. I ditched it. It just wasn't worth it.
Oh.
Listen, Nate isn't here. Is it Nate? No, sorry, my bad. One sec. Donald Taku, my bad, isn't here, and he's the Nintendo guy. So I wanted to talk to him a little bit about Power World, but that's going to happen. He might probably join later on. I'm guessing there's a bit of a time clash because he's actually I think he's your time, Ken.
Okay.
No, he's Pacific time. Right, Pacific time. So so it's morning time for him. So maybe and like there's a bit of miscommunication there. But listen, everyone else, welcome to the Talking Games podcast. I'm your host, Taye, and as usual, we have Oshos and Ken Wall. Gentlemen, how are you today?
I'm doing great. I can't wait to talk about games with y'all. Talk about the industry. Actually, I think we talk about the industry a little bit more than the games.
As always. But we're not going to jump straight to the industry. We're going to jump straight to this post right here. You know, it's funny because I wanted to look for Black Panther and I typed it in on Twitter, and for some reason this post came up and I'm like, why the hell would this pop up? Like, it doesn't make sense. And I'm like, oh, it's Oshus. So clearly he's trying to, your friend is saying something, so you want to hear. And I click on it and yeah, here it is. You know, can you explain yourself with this tweet, please?
Well, this was just me trolling these anti-wokies who are always their only example as to race swap someone, and anything will always be, well, let's just make Ryan Gosling Black Panther. And like, to me, that's the laziest example if you want to use race swapping, because all of Marvel, 90% of Marvel's heroes are all white. So you're going to say go race swap the one black superhero who comes from an indigenously black background? This is the only thing that they always have to go to when they want to sort of do the whole, like whenever they want to complain about, like, for instance, the Odyssey, whenever they want to complain about a character being rape swapped in, that's the first thing they say. So that was just a swipe at them.
Because I've had these discussions as well where they say, and I'm like, bro, it's not the same thing. Like, it really isn't the same thing. I can't explain to you anymore. And I've tried to explain it, but they just don't get it.
They don't care.
Yeah. But the truth is, the reason why I was looking for Black Panther was because I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on David Johnson being named as the next Black Panther, basically T'Challa's son. Actually, I already know your thoughts a little bit about it, so I'll get to you later. Kenwell, what are your thoughts on David Johnson being the next Black Panther? Oh, you're on mute, bro.
It took me a few days to get used to it, like get excited about the idea. I don't want to jump the gun on my next point because I don't know where this conversation is heading, so I'm gonna just hold out for it. But David Johnson, I'm familiar with him. He came in Alien Romulus and The Long Walk. I really liked him in The Long Walk. So I think he definitely can do it. I'm one of those people where I actually like British actors. I feel like they come with like I think they really serious about their shit. Like, they're very thespian. They're not like the people that came from a model background. Like, they were models and then they met the right people and then they got into Hollywood. So like, they were built for this shit. So I like when they get somebody British. Like, I don't mind that at all. My only thing is, I get it. It's his son, but I feel like maybe they could have. It's hard to like fit the bill and check all the checklist, but I feel like he's gonna look a little like Shuri, like in terms of being built. Like, he's not a presence kind of guy. Like, when he walks in the room, it's like, whoa, everyone stops and stares because he's tall, big, paws. Like, I feel like that's the only thing that is a little bit unfortunate, because Chadwick was like 6 feet, 6'1", so he's like, he had like the stature and the build. David Johnson, he's a little shorter. I think he maybe Tom Holland height, and so when he's in the suit, it might look a little weird, but I don't. I think that'll surely be forgotten about if he can act it, which I think he will be able to act it.
Yeah. So everything you said, I'm pretty much in the same boats. I was always in line that I think was going to be Idris instead, Damson Idris. So this really caught me by surprise. And obviously, when I heard how this was cast, I kind of knew, like, okay, Ryan Coogler had a feeling, because a part of me was thinking, like, if they both did have to act it out to be Black Panther, I was thinking Idris would have taken it. Or at least I think Fergie and the other guys would have went for him, right? But I think obviously Ryan Coogler just had a different view on this. I'm warming up to it because he's not a bad actor at all. He's just, I guess everybody would just focus on just one specific individual, because like you said as well, he doesn't exactly have the height, the muscle, like all these things, right? So, it's nice for him to get to the gym and, work it out. What's interesting here is that if he's supposed to be T'Challa's son and he's supposed to be because he does look kind of young, I think that could actually work. Like, he does look, and people kind of did a side-by-side comparison between him and T'Challa and Chadwick Boseman, and there are some similarities. So I'm not against it. It's just not my preference. Ushers, how about you? What are your thoughts?
Man, I'm all for it. Like, I was actually, but one person that doesn't surprise me is Ryan Coogler. Like, Ryan Coogler to me is like he's, in my opinion, like, he's the next Christopher Nolan in terms of just his eye for cinema and understanding the language of cinema. And you just watch The Long Walk, dude. Like I didn't even care. Like, The Long Walk is the movie I put on in the background. But by the time the movie ended, dude, I was so gripped, my man. Like, I had you were just like, damn, geez, like, it's hard.
That movie was exhausting in a good way.
It was, but you get emotionally invested in the brotherhood. And the thing is with the guy is he's got charisma, but he doesn't charisma comes in lots of forms. Like, you've got like the Rock type charisma, ego and whatever. This guy's got like that humble, same like what I would afford Chadwick. He's got that humble charisma. He's got that, you want this guy to win. Like, that whole movie was, this is a dude you know nothing about, but at the end of the movie, regardless of what happens, that's the guy you're rooting for. That to me is a hero. That is that is why Spider-Man works. That is why Captain America works. This guy is like, he's got that. It's the same thing that Anthony Mackie does. Like, he's that fucking brilliant. Like, I'm completely behind this guy.
This is
I'm even getting choked up just thinking about that movie and the last freaking it's so powerful, dude. His performance carries that. Him and the relationship with the other dude, they make that final mile.
Yeah,
perfect choice. It's the sort of depth that I didn't get in Damson Idris.
So I think where you're right here is that a lot of people who are making like critiques that I've seen anyway haven't really seen his body of work, right? But I think where they're coming from is they've seen Damson's body of work. They've seen him with Brad Pitt, and they've seen him in Snowfall in particular, and I've seen him in Snowfall too, where his acting range is it's very dynamic. Yeah. It's very powerful, angry, sad, emotional connection. Yeah. So I'm not like trying to say David Johnson isn't going to be good or great. I've seen The Long Walk in a short form. In a short form way, but I've seen a lot of Damson, and Damson seems to have more of a charisma. He seems to have more of that authority like figure, where he kind of commands respect when he kind of steps into the room. Now, this is all acting, so I'm not saying David can't do it. He probably can, right? I just haven't seen him in a role where he's spicy and he's taking a leadership role. So maybe that's why. But we'll see. But listen, I didn't want to get too bogged down into this. And there's also other, African movies that we can talk about, but we're getting into like drama territory there. So let's just move on to what we're really here for, which is video games. First, let's talk about EA before we get into the Xbox stuff. So, after receiving all regulatory approvals, EA says its 55 billion acquisition by a Saudi-led group to take it private is coming on the 4th of August 2026. The shareholders are led by Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund alongside Silver Lake and Affinity Partners. First question, Ken, is this good for the video game industry and players? And what titles do you expect from EA going forward with the new acquisition?
So I can answer the second question. I think it's going to be more of the same type of titles. The only reason why I'm going to say it's bad for the video game industry is it's going to reveal a lot of players' tolerance. So are you guys familiar with the college football 27 microtransactions? Yeah. So with this acquisition, these guys are going to want to recoup that money as fast as possible. So even though EA removed those microtransactions, they did say they're going to go back to it. Like in the statement, they said they are going to find a way to basically make this work. I'm paraphrasing. So when I say this is kind of bad for the industry, is it's going to show that there are a lot of players that actually don't mind these types of microtransactions. Because I was watching a video on the guy who breaks it down, because I like to play those football games from time to time, and I was thinking about buying 27. And in the comment section, one of the guys, one of the people who commented, he said, I only buy 1 to 2 games a year, and I usually do buy thousands of $1,000s worth of microtransactions. And so EA has this kind of data, and what's disappointing is that there's so many pockets within gaming that this is a pocket that has to be fulfilled, because clearly they're seeing enough. If EA did not see the data that people are willing to pay for this shit, they wouldn't have done it. So the fact that they're willing to do this, and now that they got bought, the microtransactions are going to get worse. And especially with Battlefield 6, whatever they're going to do with Battlefield, that franchise, it basically has proven that, hey, we can stick around. Let's keep going with Battlefield. Now, Battlefield 6 is going to stick around, but there'll definitely be a follow-up to Battlefield. And that's where they're going to try pulling. So they're going to still focus on FIFA, Madden, Battlefield. Those are going to be their marquee franchises. But I feel like with Mass Effect, they're going to let those games be, but they're not going to be a priority. Like, I was watching a Jason Schreier video, and he was saying that within EA, sometimes teams have to fight for marketing spots and marketing resources, or something as simple as the engine. If a team needs help with an engine, then obviously the FIFA team and the Madden team are going to get first dibs, compared to what I think is going on with BioWare. BioWare is just, they're going to let BioWare do its thing, but again, it's going to be they're not going to give them the needed support that they will do. So I think they'll just probably let them drown out until they get to a point where they'll inevitably have to close them down. But I don't think, when it comes to their future games, I think they're just going to hone in on these specific games that they're good at, and probably put more microtransactions in them, because people, they don't mind it. There's a lot of people who play those sports games. That's their only game this year that they'll play. So they'll charge the shit out of them.
Okay. Osha, what about you? What's your take on the situation? Do you think, do you predict any changes that the new Saudi coalition is going to do in relation to? Actually, let me take a step back. First question: do you think this is good for the video game industry? The fact that EA, one of the biggest publishers in the West, is now going off market and is now privately led by a country from the Middle East that might have different cultural clashes, maybe. But from a gaming perspective, do you think this is good or bad?
I think this is a horrible. This is another regression in gaming. Like, dude, like nothing. Like what good entertainment have you gotten from the Middle East? Let's just be real. Let's be honest. Like all the look at the WWE. Since they've been like leaning towards the Middle East, like the whole product is worth it's in the trash, dude. Like everything that these guys touch just becomes this sort of like nebulous mainstream fodder that like really doesn't make anything that anyone is precious about. So I don't think this is like all that EA is going to be now is literally just it's going to be a loot box producer. I don't think this is good for. If you care about Mass Effect, you care about any of these sort of experiences. I would caution you against being excited for the future. This is the worst possible path that EA could have taken, because at least when they were public, there's still some sort of like accountability that they had to their audience. Now they've got zero accountability to their audience, just to their shareholders, which were all private. So there's no benefit for gamers here. There's absolutely no upside for gamers here.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me link into the next question with that then. So BioWare, from a cultural and financial point of view, is probably the studio that's at odds the most with the new shareholders. But Mass Effect in itself is a prestigious franchise, and we've seen even conservative government bodies invest in titles that are not so conservative. So Tencent and Baldur's Gate 3, for example, right? Tencent has links to China, etc., etc. Do you see them doing something similar in Mass Effect, understanding that yes, culturally, this game is different. It's a single-player game. However, it does carry a level of prestige and power among people in the West. It is the only game of its kind of genre. Therefore, how about we invest in this game and ask ourselves a very simple question: why can't Mass Effect do the numbers that Baldur's Gate 3 has done? Or do you think they're like, nah, screw this, screw everything about this. Let's just do FIFA. Let's just do, Madden. But even at that, you could even, like take that logic and apply it to Mass Effect and say, maybe they want to turn it into a live service like game. Like how do you see BioWare's future going with the new leadership?
Worse than where it went with like the previous leaders. Like, again, if you're excited for Mass Effect, I'm just saying, dude, like look elsewhere. Like whatever you expect or you want from Mass Effect, this is the worst sort of outcome for you to get a good Mass Effect game, if you even ever get a Mass Effect game. And again, like you talk about, like you mentioned China. China's very different in their philosophy when it comes to making products. The Middle East, day and night, they don't have the same philosophies. A much more religious-based sort of like not organization, but like thinking is not the same as, like, for instance, one that is like what China is, like what China and Russia are. Very, very different mindsets. China is willing to exploit things like sexuality and whatever to make things cool. As long as things make a profit, there's certain things that they're willing to compromise. I've not seen anything from from the Middle East, specifically, like, for instance, whenever they try and court Western entertainment, like comedians. Censorship is there, all that bullshit is there, like all the shit that comes with the religious undertones are all there. So forget any sort of free thinking or any sort of entertainment that's going to be appealing to you as a Westerner. Unless, of course, it's football. It's just like the bottom of the barrel stuff that everybody's into, like Ronaldo football. That's why they bought EAs for Ronaldo. It's as simple as that. For Madden, it's as simple, because they know that. Same with WWE, because they know that they don't have to do anything for people just to flock to that stuff. It'll just make money. But if you care about story games, you care about things that are actually going to, change how we look at games. And none of that is going to happen. Like EA is going to be worse than it was under the worst. And I don't even think Andrew Wilson is that guy. Under the worst CEO they've ever had for core gamers. EA is now like they literally, you can write them off as like one of these what do you call them, live service game companies that just produce loot box stuff.
Yeah. Okay. No, I get your point. I think it's an interesting one. I don't really know where it's going to land. I do know they want to, start making back money, but I'm trying to see as well if they think this is a long-term play. I think the issue that a lot of these guys are going to find is that the time to buy all these publishers and developers was way back then. We're talking 2014, 15, 16. Because if you check EA's listing, they grew. This period of live service games brought Rockstar, EA, Ubisoft so much money. So much. In fact, not just those guys, the publishers. Steam got a huge kick. Xbox got a huge kick. PlayStation got a huge kick. I kind of mentioned it to you just a few times that one of the reasons why you could say Phil Spencer was able to kind of like ride that wave during maybe the Xbox One period for some time is because live service games became a thing. Everyone was buying. Everyone was reoccurring monetization was a thing. So I think they're buying EA at a time where I don't know if they're going to extract that much more value from them going forward than what's already there, to be honest. But yeah, I agree with all you guys' takes. But Ken, actually, let us know. Do you see BioWare staying the same, or do you see them changing in some way, shape, or form to suit the shareholders' new vision?
I don't think so. I really think Mass Effect 4 will be their last project. I think they're going to, just as well as Respawn. Respawn hasn't been doing well. They've had multiple projects canceled, and I think they're going to have one more project with the Star Wars game. That's the last of the trilogy. And so I just think EA's not going to care for their single player stuff. It's going to be, if it can return profit, cool. But the profit margins for a single player game now is smaller. So it's going to be, I think they're just going to let them, they're going to throw a small raft for them, but like it's only going to accommodate like at most 5 people. So they're just gonna let those studios off to the side. Like I don't think they really give a shit about BioWare and Respawn anymore.
Yeah, I think where BioWare has a chance to probably do really well here is the movie. The movie's coming, so the TV show's coming out, right? Which is gonna link to the next question. But if you have a TV show coming out, the IP becomes more valuable, and then it also increases the sales. So there's a chance where if the TV show does extremely well, maybe the owners are incentivized to actually keep it going, because if the goal is revenue play and you have a recurring TV show that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons, and then you're probably asking yourself like, yo, can we drop remasters like faster and faster? Yo, forget about Mass Effect remaster. How about a Mass Effect remake?
Yeah,
like an actual proper remake for Mass Effect 1. Amazing graphics, CGI like crazy. Throw in more sex scenes, throw in more sexy people, throw in better combat, better exploit. Instead of just like, randomly driving.
They might cover them up. They might cover up the girls though. That's the
Yo, they might, but the question is, do you want money? Like they probably want money. So they're thinking like, nah, listen, have everyone do whatever the hell they need to do. And then once we make our money back, you can start covering shit up, right? So it could be like that. But like I'll link it to the next question, and I'll go to you first again, Ken. So following Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, Ubisoft has seen renewed interest in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which has led to a 134% increase in player engagement. We've seen similar numbers with Fallout, Minecraft, The Last of Us, Mario, and Cyberpunk. Question: is this a trend that's going to stay, or is it now important for these AAA blockbuster IPs to use cross-media as a valuable tool in cross promotions?
I think you got to do it at this point. I think it's a very smart play, and I think the only time it's backfired is when you don't do anything, which is the Fallout series. Because we've seen The Last of Us, we've seen Cyberpunk get a boost, we've seen Witcher get a boost. What else? Well, now we're seeing this get a boost, but they haven't released a new product with it. But it's worked. Like, so many people, especially The Last of Us TV show, you see so many actors talk about The Last of Us show now because they're playing the games, and we all thought I ain't gonna lie, I thought it was stupid, but it has worked out way better than I thought. Why they had to release the remake for The Last of Us. So it's you really got to do something with it, but you got to be careful because it's kind of like Children of Blood and Bone. You got to make sure you're handling it properly to the right people. So you can't just pick any studio to do the movie. You can't do any, like, you have to make sure the people that are making the movie or TV show that they're gonna do it right. So I think it's a must now with your tentpole franchises. It's a must. Mm-hmm. Like Halo never was able to benefit because that jackass Phil Spencer gave it to the worst people. Like, they kept doing dumb shit with Halo. Like, I'm like, Halo, like, they remember, I don't know if you guys remember this. Remember they made like a Halo miniseries that was animated.
Yes.
And it was like, yes, like that's what we need for Halo. And then it was just it was trash. But yeah.
Ushers, what's your take as well on this idea that, hey, listen, going forward now, if you're gonna make a AAA blockbuster game, listen, you might be successful, but if you're complaining about margins, maybe it's a mandatory thing to actually start talking to a media studio ahead of time to actually start making a movie, right? As a way of cross promotion. And if that's the case, do you see this as a trend that's just going to happen for a couple of more years or so, or do you actually think this is going to be a main feature going forward in the video game industry?
I would say pay attention to what Asher is saying.
Mm-hmm.
And Asher probably made it very clear that she made a statement, and then I had a back and forth with some asshole on X about this. And basically, she said like billions. What was that quote? That she wants to entertain over 1 billion people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they were like, you can't even get 500 million players, blah, 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 per month, MAUs a month. How are you going to get 1 billion players? I'm like, no, she's not talking about players. She's saying entertain 1 billion people. How you entertain 1 billion people, it means that you're tapping in you're taking your IPs and then you are making sure that you cascade them across as many different platforms. And when I mean platforms, I mean TV, I mean social media, I mean they're getting eyeballs on every single screen, on every single medium that's available. And if that's her goal, that woman to me is so impressive in terms of like how she understands the future of entertainment and not just video games. So I say listen to what she's saying, and she's saying that that's where they're going. Even her new strategy that was leaked, I think, by The Verge. Those 4 things that she outlines as one of the pillars, as the pillars of Xbox going forward. One of those key pillars is a multimedia. What they call it? What? What's the new wording for that?
Halo cross media effect, is it?
Cross media, that's the word. Cross media strategy. So this is the future: is having your stuff being cross media. Because if people watch your show, chances are they might want to play your games. Chances are they might want to interact with it in some form or shape. And again, these are the guys. The Minecraft movie, fucking hit out the park. The Fallout series hit out the park. But the problem is, previous leadership could not develop consistent products of high quality. Why have we not had? And this is one thing that no one has been speaking about. Why have we not had a Minecraft game that was an 8 out of 10? Forever. Like all the Minecraft games that have come out in recent years, they've all been like 7s or 6s, or it shows you that there's just so little effort being put into making Minecraft a quality game over and above what it is. Whereas back in the day, it was like rated 8 or a 9 when the series was first new. So I love what she's doing because she's focusing on the things that matter for the future. So to answer your question, yes, everyone is going to have a cross-platform strategy.
No, I agree. No disagreements. We've seen the numbers. Last of Us did well. Fallout did well. Everyone went up, and the thing is, it also adds a boost to your previous games as well. It's all going to go up, right? This is something that should have been done a long time ago. I think one of the biggest failures on the Xbox side is the fact that they didn't have a game to go with, obviously, the TV show Fallout, and the fact that they had Halo. And I've kind of said this a few times, but like, how is it that CD Projekt Red treats their IP with a lot of care and respect, and we get Cyberpunk, the anime, what's the anime called again?
Edge Runners,
right? Capcom, they're a little bit iffy now and there, a little bit sloppy.
Yeah.
But the Castlevania ones, like my friends love that one. The Devil May Cry one as well. We saw the sales get boosted. Capcom even called it out. They were like, "Yeah, we did really well in sales this year, and it's not because of the main games. It's because the old games, Devil May Cry, was doing well. Why? Because the TV show was doing well, right? And Sony's done it too as well. We've seen it with The Last of Us, huge sales. And I'm talking to people who know nothing about the game, and they're like, "Yeah, Last of Us. This is like known. This is knowledge." And the fact that Fallout is so behind is baffling to me. But hey, listen, as also you said, things are changing, so that's good. I'm gonna jump onto. Speaking of Fallout, let's jump onto the recent rumor about Fallout. So, Inexile might be working on a Fallout game, as reported by Jez Gordon. Now, this is a rumor, but I believe it's an educated guess. So I got a few questions here. I'll go to you first with this one. Does this show? Actually, no, Ken, I'll fire away at you first. Does the rumor of Inexile jumping straight to Fallout, does this show a lack of faith in Clockwork Revolution as an IP going forward?
No, I don't think so. I think this is this is them learning, and just what I love about this move. God damn, I love this move. When you sent this to me, I was like, this is fantastic, because you're now taking a talented studio and pairing them up with a commercial product. So now you have the synergy. You have a studio that can actually execute, and now you have an IP that can do the heavy lifting. That's why certain studios should get into licensed games, because the license can carry them, can just bring all the attention that they need while they work on the game, because they actually have the chops to do it. So I don't think it's that they don't have faith in Clockwork Revolution. I just think like it's them properly reading the room. Like you shouldn't be, you gotta humble yourself. If you're like, if you're 5'4", you can't be saying, yeah, I could bench 250. Like, come on, read the room. Like, no one's gonna believe that shit. So with them moving, immediately having a plan for Inexile, because that shows me that the leadership, the executives are saying, oh, okay, their games may not have been selling, but these guys have been, first of all, producing, coming out with games at a steady cadence, and they're delivering high quality games that people are liking. So we got to keep them, and we got to just move them and match them up with something that makes sense. So I really like this move.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Before I head on to Yosh, let's just read some of his comments. Blady Quad says, I'm late, but not more Fallout, but just focus on their IPs. Young Sandwiches says, the issue is that these shows and movie creators think that they can do source material better and try to make it theirs, forgetting that it's already perfect because it has a fan base. Fair point. Fuzzy says that's basically Sony's strategy. That's why their games are character driven, which I think is a double edged sword, because obviously if you have a character driven game, the writers for the movie or TV show can just reference that, right, and that's good. But at the same time, maybe a blank slate like Fallout is better because it actually allows you to explore the world a little bit more. Let's see what else we got. Storyline in a damn comic. Richie says, I believe when we like something, we would try to get more of it and fast, no matter if it's a movie, video game, or book. I completely agree. I think cross promotion across the board, not just TV shows or movies. I think listen to comics, to anime, do manga. Like try to get into all these mediums and create like a halo effect of people talking about your product online. Go into mobile as well. Find one of these developers who want to make mobile games and just license your IP to them. Make sure they're good though, right? And I think out of everybody I've seen so far, Sony has probably been the best at doing this. Not because Nintendo hasn't done a decent job. I believe they have. But if you look at that game, what's it called again? The Horizon mobile game.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ, that game looks amazing. Like it just like as a mobile game, I'm just blown away.
Don't they have a Ratchet one coming out?
Well, there's the one made by Guerrilla Games, which is like looks garbage. It looks the one made by Guerrilla Games looks like a mobile game. The one made by the other guys looks like a PlayStation game. Like it's crazy. But Ashes, let's pass this question to you real quick. Does In Exile potentially moving on to Fallout straight away without even us know what Clockwork's sales are gonna be, Game Pass players are gonna be? If this rumor is true, do you think this shows a lack of faith that Xbox has in Clockwork Revolution?
No, like and again, I'll go back to Phil Spencer and the fact that like Phil Spencer, no one fumbled and it's not that complex to be honest with you. I just feel that like if you look at like In Exile, what was their last game before this? And I'm not talking about
Wasteland 3.
Wasteland 3. What is Wasteland 3? Wasteland 3 is what is the Wasteland? If you're a Fallout / Wasteland fan, you understand how those two are connected. You understand the fact that like the reason Fallout exists is because of the fact that they couldn't get a license to redo Wasteland, which they did in the 80s. So Wasteland 3 is the perfect top-down strategy, like old school type of strategy game. So you have guys that have the perfect engine to create the two most inaccessible Fallout games, which is Fallout 1 and 2. So now, In Exile, who originated this sort of like post-apocalyptic genre, you telling me you're giving them the license to work on Fallout? Then like the excitement I have for the fact that I pray and I hope that they're remaking Fallout 1 and 2 on using like for instance an engine similar to the Wasteland 3 engine. Because I think so many other people who never played Fallout 1 and 2 will finally experience those games because it's so hard to go back to those games and play them as they were, because they were built for a different generation altogether. To me, that is I'm more excited for that than finding out that Obsidian is making a Fallout game. An In Exile Fallout game to me is the perfect sort of like vehicle to recreate 1 and 2. And I want them to take their time with it. I want them to make Fallout 1 remake from scratch and it's its own game. Don't do a 1 and 2 together. Do a Fallout 1 and then do a Fallout 2 remake as its own standalone game. Dude, like you are just gonna make money out of nowhere, and so many people are gonna rediscover Fallout 1 and 2 and those stories. Those are the best stories in the Fallout franchise, but 90% of Fallout fans have never experienced them. And In Exile can do that. They're the studio with the talent, the engine, the understanding of the RPG or like the top-down RPG genre, especially in that setting, than anyone else. So I'm so souped up for that. I really hope that's what they do.
Okay, I'll get to some of these comments. Rachel says, "No, I think this is a lack of faith towards Obsidian. They see In Exile as a superior studio than Obsidian." That's an interesting take. Ushers, go ahead. What are your thoughts on what Richie says?
Can you just sort of like
That
contextualize that?
he believes that Xbox sees Inexa as a superior studio than Obsidian.
No, I don't think so. Like I think Asha understands the capabilities of those studios, and she's going to use them to their own strength. I don't think she's looking at Obsidian and thinking like Obsidian can make great RPGs. Outer Worlds was a great RPG, but the IP and like how the execution was lacking.
Off. Yeah.
Yeah, but like they can make great. I don't think In Exile can make a game like Outer Worlds 2. And I'm not saying like I'm just talking about in terms of overall, in terms of the technical expertise, the engine, etc. They used to making much more smaller games. Even this game was a Clockwork Orange. Was it Clockwork Orange?
Yeah. To be honest, I would say this: like if Inexa was ever going to go from Wasteland 3 to the next Fallout 3D kind of game, I think they would struggle somewhat. But I think the fact that they have Clockwork now under their hood, and I think I'm looking at Clockwork, and I'm seeing things that I like about it. I would love Inexa to do something unique with Clockwork. Now, is it going to be a CRPG game like you were saying? So like top down, and if they do that, man, I would love it if Xbox like told them to like, hey, look at Wasteland 3 and look at Baldur's Gate 3. See how those graphics look. See how the animations are like. See how the characters look appealing. See how people want to engage those characters. See how people are talking about these characters beyond the game. They're going on Reddit. They're going on all these social media sites. They're making fan art. You need to target that. I think them having Clockwork under the hood will actually allow them to actually execute that much better. So I'm game for this. I'm game for more high impact IPs, and and something else that I said. Actually, I'll just ask the question now. But before I do that, let me actually just go to some of these comments. Blurdy says Xbox having physical games would be great next gen too. I say so. I say yes. I say, but I think you could get away with having an attachment to it, and then maybe just pricing the attachment at like $300 to kind of like turn people off. What's your take on the whole attachment to physical games?
Can you just
the attachment Xbox having physical games like as a unique selling point next generation.
Xbox typically disappoints when it comes to being aggressive like that. I don't think they're going to have something that's really gonna sort of like go for Sony's throat like that. That would be going straight for Sony's throat. But they're gonna have some sort of a solution that makes it easier for their players to sort of like move their libraries over. And it's not at this point in time, unfortunately, it's one of those things that like Sony's efforts to stay physical have been much more significant than Xbox's. So Sony's just ahead in that race, and Xbox can't really catch up. Because they sort of like bowed out of the whole physical thing way earlier with their Xbox ecosystem. So it will be difficult for them to try and one-up Sony with that. Okay. I don't think they can.
Young South just says, look, if there's one thing that Obsidian knows how to do, it's ship a game. They've shipped ever since joining Xbox, they've shipped 4 games. Outer Worlds 2, Pentiment, Grounded 1, Grounded 2, and Avowed. And I think they also shipped Outer Worlds 1 under Xbox. So that'd be 5 games, which is impressive. All right. Next one. Richard says Asha will give Fallout to Obsidian and in Exile and will let them fight and prove who deserves to be recognized. I think it's gonna be a little bit. I think what Asha's thinking is like, I don't want one of them to lose. I think she wants them both to win. So she's like, maybe Obsidian make Fallout, something Fallout different, like Fallout New Vegas 2. And she's telling in Exile to make Fallout Washington. Now I said this to Ken on the Discord. I said, yo, can you imagine if it was like Fallout China, Fallout Japan, or some like different region? And I think, listen, if you think from a business point of view, you're saying yo, we've been talking about China a while, like recently. Maybe we need to, start making games that's like situated within that location. And we've seen how gamers in the West have gravitated to cultural games that are different from the East. So how about we release a game that is whatever, Fallout Japan, Fallout China, whatever it is, and these guys are speaking, their native language. It adds to that, right? So that could be something that you could do. Fallout Korea. I'm sorry, Fallout Seoul. I don't know what you guys think about that. Ken, I'll hit you up first. Like, what do you think about a Fallout game that isn't based in the United States? Oh, fuck you.
It's one of those IPs. I feel like, and I'm not like, oh, this is America. I feel like it's just America. Like, I feel like the setting has got to be in America.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like that's how Bethesda wanted it. But like, I gotta definitely, because we are going to be talking more, I gotta just say this to you fellas. I don't like Bethesda. I don't think they're good anymore. I never liked their games. I tried getting into Fallout, Elder Scrolls. I gotta, like, this is my I guess I'll stay on an island on my own, but Bethesda, I cannot stand Bethesda. I don't like their games. I'm happy Asha is doing this to Bethesda, where it's just like, you're not having carte blanche over this franchise. We're giving it to other people. Because In Exile would be like, if they make it like Clockwork or something like that, I'm fucking with that. I'll be there day one. But to go back to your question, Ty, I feel like Fallout is American. I feel like they would just stay in the States. I think it feels.
We got a MAGA over here, bro.
Whoa there. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm just messing with you, right? Yeah. No, I get your point. I think even Todd Howard said something similar, but I wonder if people gravitated towards that Fallout London game, and is it a situation where it's like, maybe if you have Fallout, New Vegas 2 be made by Obsidian, do you need to differentiate the Fallout in Exile more, and is choosing a different region a better way of doing that, along with maybe some gameplay changes or whatever, right? Oshus, what's your take on the idea of a Fallout game, one of them anyway, being made in a different region?
Like, all that stuff, including China and being involved in the whole Fallout, put that in a remake of Fallout 1 and 2. Like, I don't care for a new one. Like, if you're gonna release, if Obsidian is making New Vegas 2, if Bethesda is making Fallout 5, they can focus on making a game in a different country. I'm saying utilize what these guys are good at with the engine that they developed with Wasteland 3 and give us a remake of Fallout 1 and 2. That's what I want. Because I can't I've got those games, but I can't enjoy them because they were made for the 90s. And 90s games, if you think you're a gamer, go try and fucking play a game from the fucking late 90s. Dude, like, you will get 5 minutes and fucking quit. You're done. That's how unforgiving the original Fallout is. And I'm saying those are two core stories to the Fallout lore that we will never experience unless someone remakes them. That's what I want in this. And they're the perfect studio to do it.
All right, fair. Youngster just says he wanted to ask, what did y'all think about the Exodus gameplay reveal? I thought it was dope. And the more I watch it, the more I'm like, this is definitely like a Mass Effect like sequel for sure. It looks great. No, that's me. I'd love to hear it.
Exodus, I'm excited for, man.
And Rachie says, anyone see Crimson Desert's camera angle update months ago? You literally can make the game look like Diablo. You know what? What I like about this is the option of choice. Yeah, and I kind of said this about Indiana Jones. Making a first-person adventure game, I think that's cool, but you do know people like third-person mode, so how about you just include that as an option as well for people to play? And I don't mean patch it 5 months later. I mean, day one, have that option available. So yeah, shout out to part is for continue to update the game and give different angles to allow the game to feel different. Good stuff. Todd Howard is quite happy to wait decades in between releases. Asher is not. This is very, very true. And this is why I believe we haven't had as much Fallout games in a long time, because he was kind of hoarding these games to himself. Young Sandwiches says thank you. You're welcome. And he says the furthest game I can go back and play is Max Payne 1. Before that, I just can't. Yeah, Max Payne 1. I love those games, but I can't imagine going back to them now. I don't think I could even play 2 levels without being extremely frustrated. But I do have the next question for you guys on the Fallout topic, and to the people in the chat as well. To the guys in chat, I also ask you guys this as well. Do you think though that a Fallout remake, a Fallout 5 game, a Fallout by Obsidian, and now a potential next Fallout is oversaturation? I just don't know if you're there. Are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, cool. I'll go to Ushers first.
You need to have produced an overwhelming amount of product for there to be oversaturation. Phil produced fuck all for fucking for a day. He did fuck, he had all these IPs that could make all this money, and then he gave you South of Midnight and a whole bunch of other IPs that nobody cares about. These IPs are if Asher is looking at this, he's like, dude, you're sitting on a gold mine. What are you doing with it? And no, it's not oversaturation, because again, they're gonna target different segments of because if the In Exile game, I promise you, is going to be for the most hardcore Fallout fans. And then and then the second tier to that is gonna be the Obsidian game, which is gonna be the second most hardcore one. And the Bethesda one is actually gonna be the most accessible one, because it's gonna be like a Starfield. So it's not targeting even the same audience. You get an overlap between the 3. But if you make it like that, if you make those games that different, and they target those sort of, if you know Fallout and you know Fallout's fan base, it's literally split between those 3. Hardcore guys that like Fallout 1 and 2, guys that think that New Vegas was the best modern Fallout, and people that enjoy the more casual Fallouts, which is what Howard literally meant. So no oversaturation. There's enough market to go around for that.
And Kenwell, what about you? Do you share the same thoughts, or do you think this is way too much Fallout and we need to diversify and make different games?
No, I think this is good. Again, yeah, there's gotta be I mean, there's Fallout 4. There's Fallout 4, so I don't think there's a lot of saturation in it. If you compare it to other franchises, look at Uncharted 4. There's been 4 games of Uncharted. That's definitely not oversaturated, and a expansion pack. So I think you get to saturation when it's 8 games. That's when it starts getting crazy, and you're just all right, can we move on to the next thing, please? But with Fallout, it's been moving very slow, and it's only been made by one studio. So, and that is usually common when something is made by one studio. But with Fallout, it's just been. I know a lot of fans love those games, and they just haven't gotten enough of it. And especially going back to the TV show, there was nothing to support that TV show. And has there ever been a remake of a Fallout game? We've went through the trend of, we thought it was a trend of, remakes are going to be a trend. Well, now they're here to stay, and that's going to be a thing forever. And Bethesda never got in the business of that. Have they ever remade any of their game? Well, Oblivion, that was the first one, but other than that, they haven't done much. So yeah, I agree. I don't think it's oversaturated.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I told you yesterday about Resident Evil. Been a game in the space of 7 years. I think there's been 8 Resident Evil games. So if anyone's making those complaints, why weren't you complaining before about other IPs, right? And one thing about Fallout that I would even say is like Fallout could actually have more numbered sequels because if every character is a blank slate and every region is different, this is not like playing Nathan Drake's Eighth Adventure. This is like just playing a brand new game all over again, with a brand new character,
Yeah.
etc., etc. But listen, let's move on to one of the big talking points, which is Steam and Xbox. Just released an article recently that I thought was pretty insightful, pretty good. So yeah, let's get to it. The Xbox strategy under the previous regime was looking to release an open device that would support multiple storefronts, such as Steam. However, current leadership seems to disagree. This is the best way forward. First question: why did Xbox move towards this direction, which is in contrast to what Sony and Nintendo were doing in the first places? Ken, what's your guess here? Why Xbox decided to even move towards this in the first place?
Because to me, I think Xbox is, Asha thinks they have a chance to change consumer sentiment. I think
No. Sorry, I meant the first one was why do you think Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond and Matt Booty, that previous regime, why do you think they decided to, hey, let's move towards a open platform? I'm sorry, I don't know if you were answering that question or not.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, no, you corrected me. I think they did that because they were. I think they were waving the white flag, but they were pivoting into becoming a publisher because they were releasing their games everywhere. There wasn't a clean slate. Now they're backtracking. So, but I would say the original regime was transitioning into becoming a publisher, and they were going to rely on Game Pass, all the studios that they acquired, release all the games everywhere, and profit. Because technically, like, they were getting some good sales from those games. Like, they were selling 5 million copies, and so I think that was what they were going to do. But then Asha came in, and so that's what I think they were gonna. That's what they were gearing up for.
All right, next question. Why do you think Asher's come in and said, "Fuck all that. we're gonna do it the original way, which is what the competitors are doing, Nintendo and Sony." Like, why the strategic change all of a sudden again?
Because she knew Phil was a dumbass. You're in the console business, and so even if it was an open platform, they were still taking a piece of your shit. Because if it was on Steam and the game released on Steam, that you would use the Xbox just to go through Steam and give them money. What the fuck kind of makes sense does that make? So she knew, like, yes, as a consumer, that it was always, I always thought that's a cool idea. But as a business, it made no sense because you were sharing the pie with people that you weren't supposed to be sharing the pie with. It was a dumb mentality. And Xbox was always it's nice that they're getting away from that dumbass kumbaya and they're caring about themselves. So I just think simply it didn't make sense to share the profit with other people that did not need to be involved. So she spotted that out and course corrected.
Oshus, first question as well. Why do you think they decided to go down this pathway in the first place? Like, why did Xbox go from exclusives to multi-platform under the Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond regime? Oh, you're muted.
Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
My bad. So, like, again, like, in my opinion, if I look at like what happened leading up to that, it was a desperation move. Phil had bet the entire business on Game Pass or on subscription services. And initially, it seemed like a great idea if you looked at what the original inception of the idea was. But that idea only existed if Game Pass was going to scale at the level that Phil thought it was going to, which it didn't. That is, in my opinion, why they took that route. And the problem is that, like, when you fall so far below what was expected, dude, like, then you like all it proves is that the conventional way to do things was the right way to do things because it works. Because Sony did it and it worked. Nintendo did it and it worked. What you tried to do just ended up stretching them, and like, and to quote Asha, it stretched the company too thin. They were trying to invest in too many different avenues at one time, and the problem is they were making very little gains in each of those avenues. So it became very, very complex very quickly. All she did is just revert back because those strategies are proven. They tried, they tested, and she knows what she was doing. Well, she understands how those models work versus completely putting or hinging your bets on something that's completely new.
Okay. So, next question. I mean, I already know the answer. Are you saying that you agree with Asher's way of doing things now? That's the original Phil Spencer way. Zero Bound way of being multi-platform was incorrect, and the strategy that's been implemented now makes sense.
Me or Kevin?
Oh, you Asher's.
I'm 100% behind Ash's strategy. Like, as a core gamer, how can I not be? Because for the first time, she actually doesn't like. She like Xbox acknowledges the fact that they need console gamers to be in the game. Whereas Phil, for the longest time, was sort of saying, "Nah, well, you guys are a relic of the past. We don't really need you. Our business is now focused on all these people that are going to subscribe and that are into live services, blah 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 blah." So her strategy works for me individually, and I think is going to gain, especially now because the market has changed as well. Console business has changed drastically, so you now have to rely more on your people that are actually built into your ecosystem or your consoles or whatever that buy games and whatever. Those are the people that are going to carry you. Like, especially as things become more expensive, those are the people that are willing to invest in your hardware, invest in buying your games, etc. So her strategy trumps, pun not intended, Phil's strategy any day. Phil's strategy was a whole bunch of wishy-washy, nice to have things, but it wasn't a strategy in my opinion. It's what Phil would have liked to see in gaming. Everyone getting along. Phil was getting fucking pancaked by Sony and still handing games over. Like, I don't understand that. Like, your competition is making it clear that we will give you nothing.
Yeah.
And then you are saying, okay, thank you. Here's more of our games. We will take things from you. Okay, here's more of our games. Like, I don't understand that. Like, it makes no sense. In a capitalist corporate society, where does that work?
No, I understand. I think everyone in the chat also has the same sentiments because Young Sandwiches says it's almost like Asha went to ChatGPT, prompted how to fix Xbox, and that's just what she's doing right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Richie says they try to go full cloud, yet they have the worst cloud in the gaming business. Listen, I agree with Richie there. The cloud is not that strong at all. It's improved, but it's compared to this to the competitors. No. Yeah. Phil's issue is that he did not want to whip asses into gear. You can have all these studios, but if they're not producing anything, you need to kick their asses. I agree there as well. I think I've ranted on enough about managing these studios, so please let me not get into it. But listen, Jess said some interesting stats, which leans towards his argument that having Steam on the platform isn't a good strategy. So I'll ask you guys first before we kind of get. Actually, no, I'll read Jess's take and then I'll ask you guys questions. So he says, eternal Xbox documents from around last winter received and verified by Windows Central offer some insights into how Xbox Ally gaming PC is going on that front. Around 75% of Xbox Ally owners also own Xbox Game Pass Ultimate or PC Game Pass, which is an impressive figure. But the purchasing behavior of non-subscription holders offers a bleak picture for the Xbox PC Store attachment rate. Of non-subscribing users, if an Xbox Ally user was also an Xbox console owner, around a quarter of those users also made purchases on the Xbox ecosystem. However, if the Xbox Ally owner was not an Xbox console owner, that figure dropped to 2%. So if you're somebody with no connection to Xbox and you've purchased the Xbox Ally, there's a 2% chance you buy a game from the Xbox storefront. What Jez is trying to say here, I believe, is that if Microsoft Xbox was to release a device that is an open platform, if you're taking the metrics of what the Xbox Ally is doing, only 2% of those users who are non, Xbox adjacent in terms of Game Pass, whatever it is, will buy from your platform, which is quite dire. Those are disastrous numbers. So my question to you, Kenwal, will be: the idea of Steam on open platform is an attractive, unique selling point to any device. However, the fear is that it destroys the sales within your own platform, which is how you make your money. The idea of actually going back on this, how does that fit within the Xbox strategy? Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think they need Steam to actually sell Xbox Helix, or do you think it'll be fine and they should close off the platform and they should close off the ecosystem and just have it as a traditional console? What are your thoughts?
I think it's a risk worth taking, because you can't, like I was saying, you can't share the profit with these guys if they're not giving you anything. Steam is not giving Xbox anything, so why are you giving them something that helps them, which is money? You're giving them your customers. You're sharing the shit, and they're not sharing at all. So I think it's a risk worth taking. And that stat, I didn't even know that stat. Holy shit, that's terrible. But that goes back into they don't have anything that anybody wants. So you gotta. It was time for them to start over, and this is the right time, because they're not really starting over. They're just focusing on what they have and their strengths, and then they're just gonna double down on it. So, and sometimes it's just easy to just copy what everybody else is doing. Nintendo and Sony, especially Sony, they said, we're not doing this anymore. We're not giving away our games. Xbox, you should follow suit. It doesn't matter. It's the right business choice, right business decision. And so you got to do what you got to do. I don't agree with sharing profit with people that aren't sharing.
Ashish, you heard Kenwal's take. What's yours? What do you think of Steam being on the Xbox Helix? A disaster or a good strategy?
Again, one thing that they've not answered, is the question of how are they going to make that 30% revenue that they're making on console now? If, for instance, they open up their if the Helix is indeed a hybrid and they're opening up their ecosystem, basically, how are they making the money that they were making off licensing things exclusively on their consoles? To me, from a revenue perspective, and this is the one point that Colin Moriarty makes that I think no one can dispute, is how do you make money with that? Are you just playing the long game and saying, well, you know what, we'll win this by the virtue of it's all going to be on Windows? Is that your play? But you're then going to forfeit the 30%. That's going to hurt your book so badly. If you're saying we're doing away with the 30% that we're making of all of Xbox consoles. So for me, until they answer that question, I don't understand how Steam being on Xbox works.
So my take on this is a little bit different. I think if Xbox was going multi-platform and staying multi-platform, you don't have a unique selling point to your device. So at that point, you're just going to hurt yourself. So it makes sense to actually get Steam on it, because now you can pivot towards being a pre built PC manufacturer, right? And you could make money that way. And you can focus on trying to keep these users within your ecosystem by selling it, by making your PC storefront better. The other good thing here that I think you can say is the people who would buy the Xbox Helix, if you're not an Xbox game, like if you buy it as an Xbox gamer, you're probably going to stay within the platform because you're using the platform. It's the tyranny of defaults, right? Anyone who's buying it as a, Steam box, they were never Xbox users in the first place. They were never going to buy this device. So therefore, you're not actually really losing anything. If you were to sell it at a loss, then that hurts because you're not going to make the money back via sales or microtransactions or Game Pass. But if you're selling it at cost or even a profit, and someone was buying the device as a Steam box, then it's not that important. Like it is, like at that point, it's just about branding at this point, right? However, if you're going back to being exclusive, then I would say you probably need to close shop a little bit because now you can actually start to grow the platform more. So I don't disagree with you guys like at all. I just think I understood the strategy before from a multi-platform point of view, but now that it's exclusives, yeah, fight for it. Now that you've gotten rid of Compulsion, Ninja Theory, Double Fine, and now that you're telling Obsidian to make this game, to make the Fallout game, now that you're telling In Exile, like, yo, the next game you're gonna make is Fallout, it tells me that you're focusing on impact titles that are gonna bring in sales, Game Pass players, etc., etc., etc. And if that's the case, then your platform becomes far more sustainable. And I think that's a great thing. So I'm in favor of not allowing Steam on it. I think Jez had some ideas that maybe if you sign up to Game Pass Ultimate or something, they might give you access to it. Maybe they might try to do some kind of sharing system where whenever you purchase a title, they take some level of a cut. Steam might not want to agree to that. So I don't see why they would. But I think most people are thinking now that what, there's not going to be a Steam on this platform. Let me get some of these chats. That's not me playing now. Wouldn't that make Google? Richie, Play Now, would that make Google Play Store angry? Do they have a subscription service called Play Now? If they do, yeah. But like if it's just but I guess I think that was a rumor, so who knows? They might change it up. Richie says Helix isn't a PC. Xbox makes so much money by selling first-party accessories locked down to the ecosystem. Richie also says, I'm an Xbox user and I would be the first to ditch the Xbox store and go full Steam. Richie, don't say that. Okay, so I got some more questions for you guys, but this will be more of like a quick hit, right? Yo, what's on the screen?
Them doing the sound. That's how they make the sound.
Oh, we're still on games. Okay, cool. I was thinking like the YouTube. All right, cool. So that's the true or false. And to the guys in the chat as well, just throw out true or false as well if you agree or disagree. Ushers, first question that's true or false. Matthew Boss stated, there is scant evidence that any platform has been built, and even less that it has been sustained without having exclusive content. True or false?
True. Sorry, I was muted.
Okay. Ken Wall, true or false?
Oh, the same question. Okay. Yeah, true.
Question, yeah.
True.
Rachie, Fuzzy, young, I was gonna call him Young Stud, Young Sandwich. True or false? Same thing. There is scant evidence. Okay, young Sandwich says true. So everyone's on the same page there, right? Next question: true or false? Ushers, Xbox no longer needs to outsell PlayStation to win the generation.
False.
Wait, say that question again.
Xbox no longer needs to outsell PlayStation to win the generation.
I think I'm gonna go with true.
True.
I'm
Interesting.
gonna go with true.
Ushers, we'll go to you. Why did you say false?
I'm an old school rules guys, dude. Like, you gotta beat the man to be the man.
You're basically like, listen, this is what the rules of console war was.
This
All
is
you new kids come in and try to change the perimeters and say, "Oh, players matter," and all this
Game's the
stuff.
game.
You're like,
it's
nah,
not
get
worked.
out of
Like,
here.
it's this, like, people always cite Nintendo, and I'll say, dude, like, there's so many ifs and buts and clauses when it comes to Nintendo. The rules are the rules. You gotta beat the man to be the man. It's as simple as that.
Okay.
And unfortunately, Xbox has never beaten the man.
Ken Wall, why did you say true?
I say true because I'm gonna look at something like Sony and Nintendo. Nintendo and Sony have been their competition, but they've both been able to work without stepping on each other's toes. I mean, obviously, with any company, you want to keep getting more money, you want to keep generating more profit, but they found a way to carve out a section of gamers, and they've both been living in harmony ever since. I think Xbox, because they're after a few different things, I think they can now get to a spot where they can now generate the profit that they've been wanting to generate without necessarily needing to sell as much as the PlayStation does.
I think you're actually trying to say what Rachel's gonna say now, but I'll sum it up and I'll sum up the answers. So Young Sandwiches says true. So he's with X. Ushers, you said false, right?
Yeah, Usher said false.
Yeah, so Young Sandwiches says true with Ken Wall, so that's 2. But Rachel says false, so it's a tie. Rachel says you need high spenders. Young Sandwiches says it's too late in the generation to win by sales, but it can grab the consumer win very easily with the way Sony is behaving. Okay, next question to everyone. Ushers, you first. Game Pass is still Xbox's biggest competitive advantage. True or false?
Oh, that's a complicated question. So its biggest competitive advantage.
Young Sandwiches says true.
I'll say false.
False. Okay, before you explain why, Ken Wall, Game Pass is still Xbox's biggest advantage. True or false?
I'm gonna go false.
Ushers, explain your answer first.
How has, like, I would love to know what advantage a Game Pass is given over Sony
Yeah.
or Nintendo or anyone. Like, how has it gained? Like, what have they gained from Game Pass over the competition? Nothing.
I think Game Pass, and it goes back to the original point: exclusives. Game Pass needs exclusives. It needs games. It needs quality games. So if you get if I'm explaining this right, like, that comes first. The Game Pass is just like additionally, and with a lot of people. Oh, you have some.
Yeah, I just wanted to add one thing.
Yeah.
Case in point, the Xbox One did better than the Series X and S with no Game Pass.
Yeah. That's a very good point. Very good point. And so Game Pass still needs games. The Xbox just in general needs quality games. So it Game Pass doesn't become what it can become without that. So if you take away the quality games and you're just having a subscription service that has a whole bunch of games, it goes back to the consumer behavior and how they consume games. Most casuals The funny thing is most casuals are not consuming a lot of games. They're sticking to one game. So I don't know how that's a competitive advantage over Sony and Nintendo that you have this subscription service. I think, like, to me, the advantage that I get from Game Pass is the fact that I can jump from my Series X to my PC. That's really the only thing. But even then, the PC is hurting the console.
Okay. Well, we got some answers here. Young San says true. And he explains that the biggest issue with Game Pass is that they have had terrible management up to this point. With proper oversight, Game Pass is literally a slam dunk. Think about it. 30 million subs at $15 a month. That is 450 million a month. There are Fortune 500 companies that would kill for income like that. Fuzzy did disagree, and he says Xbox's best advantage is all their ridiculously valuable IP that they own. Okay. It seems like most people are on the line of false there. Next one.
I agree with.
You agree with who, Fuzzy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Richie says, I can use the same save file from my 360 to my Series X and cloud, and in the future, maybe PC. I think that Richie's trying to say that is Xbox's best advantage. It's the fact that it's linked to all the previous generations. Next question. Xbox should stop chasing console exclusives altogether. True or false?
False.
False.
Yeah, let's just skip that one. Everyone's gonna skip that.
Like, we're back here. Like, if Asher ascertained after like being at Xbox for such a short time, like, oh, wait a minute, actually exclusives matter.
Mm-hmm.
It's to me, it's the only person that didn't get that is fucking Phil Spencer.
Okay, yeah, Young Sanchez agrees as well. I think everyone's gonna agree on this one, right? How about this one? Yeah, if Steam does come to the Xbox Helix, the Xbox Store completely becomes irrelevant. Cautious.
There's a lot of truth to that. that would be the dumbest thing that Xbox ever does. Yes, true. The dumbest thing. Putting Steam on your fucking. I don't know how they would do it, but that would be dumb.
All right, I'm a go false because I gotta add a little nuance for the simple fact that I'm sure Xbox has to add some work to getting to Steam. You can't be that stupid. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta make your store more easily accessible than Steam. So I'm gonna say false.
Okay. Most people are agreeing that Richard says let Nintendo be the Series S and someone does it money hats. Fuzzy says whatever they got to do to keep funding games, but I think for the direct answer, Young San says you can't beat Gabe's, and I think most people of you will agree with that one. Next question: if Gears of War eBay disappoints on a Game Pass and sales metric, Xbox has a first-party problem and could pivot back to being multi-platform. True or false? Basically, long story short, Gears of War needs to succeed for the exclusive plan to work.
False.
Explain.
Like, them committing to exclusive is not based on one game. It's based on them looking at the entire industry and looking at what works and what doesn't work. So this is not a decision, like, and they've said this several times over and over again. This is not a decision hinged on one or two titles. It's a strategic decision hinged on the long-term health of the business. So this is something they're committing to. They've committed to exclusives on so many different fronts and et cetera, et cetera. So false. I don't think that's what Azure is not like Phil Spencer that's gonna just hinge everything on one thing. I think they have a much more cohesive strategy there. So no, they're not relying on PS becoming overwhelmingly successful.
Okay, well,
Yeah, I agree. I think false. I think people. I would definitely say Gears is kind of like a. I don't want to disrespect it too much, but it's kind of like a cult classic. Like it was never a high, like one of the highest selling video game franchises. Obviously, on Xbox, it was. It's the highest. It's one of the highest, but the numbers weren't like out of this world. So I don't think you can really. You're putting too much expectations on Gears, and I think I will say from based off of their actions, this new regime at Xbox isn't doing that kind of stuff. They're looking at what they're reading the room better on these games that they have.
Good take. Young Sandwiches agrees with you. He says that he agrees with everything you guys have just said. He says it would take time to build up the exclusive games. He says, does Gears even have a massive fan base anymore?
Yeah.
That is true as well.
I'll say Fallout though. I think they're in trouble with Fallout.
Yeah.
I think they're in trouble.
Yeah,
with
Fallout doesn't hit the message.
I don't think Bethesda. I'll say it again. I don't think Bethesda's got it anymore.
We agree to a certain degree.
Okay. True or false? Sony PlayStation will reverse its all digital decision.
Fuck no.
Fuck no, false.
Fuck like the way I always say this. If you own a PlayStation console and you continue to fucking cuck and support Sony, like if you bought it like out of the goodwill of like, yeah, you know what, like they're making good shit from the PS4 to PS5, I get it. But if you continue to support Sony, you're the definition of a fucking cuck. Because Sony does not give a fuck what you think. They don't care whether they know that you're gonna buy their shit whether you like it or not. They give so little shit about what you think that they don't really like. How many posts have we seen people just trolling them? Like if it was Xbox, they would have already come out with a statement by now. Sony doesn't give a fuck. They're not gonna change fuck all. Because they know that their players are just drones that are just gonna keep throwing money at them. Rightfully so.
They know their players are casuals.
Yeah, the logo fucking guys. Like the logo is what matters. Like, yeah, it's got a PlayStation logo on it, but
I just needed to play FIFA, Madden,
exactly.
Fortnite, Warzone. That's all I need it for. Like I don't care about the exclusives. All the people that have been complaining, I'm like, I don't know what you're not getting. You don't hold the power. You just don't. Like I feel bad for y'all, but like digital games have been around for a long time now. It's been over a decade. Like the time was coming. I get it. You want the choice, but that's not how it works all the time.
Young Sandwiches says false as well. I agree with you guys. He says Sony is fast becoming one of the most anti-consumer companies on the face of the planet.
Wait, hold on. I don't like that though. Like all the companies are anti-consumer.
Wait, but like no way I disagree.
He says the most. Is that true?
The most?
No, but I've always said this. And I said this a while back when this whole thing started with people wanting Xbox to be fucking a hippie company that gives their games to everyone. I said, do you understand the kind of company Sony is when they're in a victory position? They will teabag everyone. Like I was there for the PS3 and the 360. The reason I'm an Xbox fan now is because Sony said, you know what, go get a second job so you can fucking afford a PS3. like how do you what sort of a dumb how do you not remember that shit?
Yeah.
Sony, the moment they're in a victory position and they know that they've got you by the fucking balls, dude, they will exploit you for every cent and give you nothing.
But
and like this is what
Nintendo, how do you feel about Nintendo?
Sorry?
How you feel about Nintendo? Which one's more scummy?
the only problem with Nintendo is that like I've not been in a position where I needed to buy Nintendo anything for fucking decades. So like I understand that Nintendo sells expensive pieces of plastic. So I've not owned a Nintendo anything. Like the last thing I owned I think was a DS. And I pirated all the games on the DS.
You know what sounds interesting about what Richie says? It says that people forget how ruthless they were with Sega in the 90s, and he's referring to Sony. And I think of that quote that Matt Booty said, where he's like, we're going to outspend these motherfuckers, right? And I think that's exactly what Sony did to Sega. They were just like, oh, you're spending 20 million on marketing? Chump change, bro. Chump change, basically. All right, so we got some more questions. Young Stan also agrees as well. Here's one about Game Pass. Game Pass has trained players to wait for games on Game Pass. True or false?
This is a complicated question, dude. Like, I can only relate to my experience, and I'll say this: that if I love, and again, I think you said this as well, Tyler. I buy games that I care about. I bought Elden Ring. I didn't give a fuck whether it's coming to Game Pass or not. If I care about a game, I'll go out of my way and buy it, even if it is on Game Pass. I will still go and buy that game. Or if I don't buy that game, like for instance Starfield, I'll buy that shit that gives you early access. As long as I put money towards, I like to support people that make shit that I like.
Yeah.
So for me, that is how I approach that. Like, I don't have that relationship with games that like, as long as I can play it, that's all that matters. I want to support people, and I want to feel that I contributed to people that made an experience that I enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Ken. Well, actually, before that, Rachel says false. If a game doesn't come day one, I'm not waiting for it to come to Game Pass because it's not guaranteed it will ever come to Game Pass. Yeah. So Richie says Final Fantasy VII Integrate isn't on Game Pass. And Young San says, funny story, Elden Ring is the only game I have ever pirated that I didn't go buy.
Damn. Oh, a new game, shit.
All right, Ken, well, man, go ahead and answer. What's your take? True or false?
I'm gonna have to go with. I'm going to say true only regarding to me. Mm-hmm. Only regarding to me. So as soon as I got Xbox Ultimate, I always just had that subscription just running because it was only $15. And so when Halo Infinite came out, and I'm a big Halo fan, I didn't think twice about buying it. Claire Obscure, same thing. Outriders, same thing. Gears of War Remake, waited for game. I didn't even think about buying that game. And that was when I unsubscribed from Game Pass. Gears of War Remake, I unsubscribed from Game Pass and then subscribed to Game Pass when it came out. Just so I could play it on Game Pass. I didn't think about buying it. And now with Gears of War E-Day and Fable, I'm going to re-up my Game Pass just to play those games. I'm not going to buy those games. I'm like, oh my God. It's got to be like, it's got to be really good. Like, even like, all right, their future slate of games like Elder Scrolls 6. I'm not going to buy Elder Scrolls 6. I'm going to buy Game Pass to play that. So I'm just saying this for me. It trained me to wait for Game Pass. It specifically got me.
Oh my God. So I guess okay. So he just basically like, yeah, every Xbox game I just signed up play on Game Pass. Like you're the problem, you know. But young Sandwiches makes a clarification. He says, I would say it's only true regarding Xbox Studio games. If it's on Game Pass, I will not buy. Which I think is fair. I think that's like, you know, you're paying for the service. More Game Pass ones. Xbox made a mistake in putting day one games on Game Pass. It should have been maybe 6 months to a year later. True or false, Ushers?
This is another complicated one.
Ooh.
Jeez. So, in my opinion, this is true, but this is only true if we go back to, right? Like, and again, I have to just add to this context. I think Xbox putting their games on PC day one was a mistake.
Yeah. Yep.
So if we go back there and say, well, if we're saying in the collection of mistakes, it was one of those many, decisions. Yes. However, where it becomes false is that, like, once you've put your games on PC day one, then putting your games on Game Pass day and date, I think, yeah, it's part of the course. Like, I don't see it as severely. By the time they did that, after they put all their games day one on PC, I don't think it was as severe. So I don't think it was a mistake once you've sort of said that, well, we're moving away from having platform exclusives. Okay, but let me give you a concise answer. So no, I don't think it was under the current conditions that Phil Spencer created, no, it was not a mistake. So false.
Well, Young Sanchez says false. That benefited me. LOL. That's a like, yeah. But true, yes, they should have wanted and let FOMO do its thing. Okay, so he says true. I know Fuzzy said something here. I can't seem to find it anymore. Where's Fuzzy's comment? Oh, I can't find it. There it is. It says, if I wait on a game like that, it's probably because I didn't actually really want to play it. And I agree with Fuzzy here. There's no, like, I think I should say the same thing. There's no game that I want that I'm going to be like, oh, well, let me wait for it to come on Game Pass. That just means I just didn't care about the game that much. And I've said this online a few times, that somebody who says, I'll wait for it to come on Game Pass is the same person who says, I'll wait for a sale. That's essentially the same thing. Next question. Xbox is building the future while PlayStation is protecting the past. Kenwell, you first.
Xbox is building the future while PlayStation is protecting the past. Well, PlayStation just got rid of physical games.
I don't know, man.
Oh, man.
I would say false. I'm gonna go false.
Really?
I mean, definitely with the way they.
Is this your king?
I'm gonna go with false, bro. PlayStation ain't trying to. Fuck this.
PlayStation don't give a fuck.
Because they're building Lao Fei. What the fuck is Lao Fei? That makes no sense, bro. I'm going false.
All right, Ushers, what's your take?
Man, like 100%, I agree with Ken. Everything that Ken will say is spot on. Dude. What the fuck is something? Like, I don't understand. Like there's one thing. Like, Xbox has been fucking up, so we're used to it.
Yeah.
But, like, what Sony is doing right now, man, is like they literally just, like, I've never seen anyone throw fucking at their fan base more than Sony has in the last. Like, in this entire generation, they've done nothing for their fans. Nothing. Like, everything that has made them successful in the past, they've abandoned. Mm-hmm. Every single thing. First party, AAA exclusives, fuck you. We're giving you 12 live service games. Here's, and what is that other shit that they released? That bombed? Marathon. What is it? No, Marathon. Before Marathon. What was before Marathon? The other
Concord.
one. Concord. Here's you want. What do you want? You want more Last of Us? Here's Concord.
Yeah.
you want more Kratos? Here's Lao Fei. You go figure it out.
Okay, let me get to this comments, man. Young Sandwiches says, true. At least Xbox is trying to. interconnectivity is the future. They just have not been pushing it in the right way. And Richie says, false. PlayStation built itself a quality cloud without destroying the console brand. Oh, okay. Interesting takes. Next question. True or false? Xbox fans care more about Game Pass than exclusive games. Ken, true or false?
I'm gonna go false.
Yeah. False.
Why?
I think it's. I'm not gonna lie. I think a lot of Xbox fans just drank the Kool-Aid, and then they saw some other people drinking the Kool-Aid, and they're like, "Yeah, let me get in," but their heart wasn't in it. Their heart wasn't in it, bro. Like, you need exclusives.
Yeah, that's just true or false.
No, I
Xbox
agree.
fans care more.
We all bought into the hype for a while,
Yeah.
and it was all fun and dandy until you saw fucking PlayStation 5 Halo. Then you're like, oh, what the fuck? What? Yeah. There's like, then ninjas were quick to say, oh, hold up, oh, I didn't sign up for this. That's not what I was like.
Yeah, this is not what I signed up for. What the fuck is this?
Exactly.
Richie says 50-50. You have Game Pass fans and Xbox fans. I think there's some truth there. There's some people who are very like, why the hell would I want to get rid of Game Pass when I get all these games for cheap? Whereas everyone else is like, no, we want exclusives. Like, no, we like the idea of exclusives. So, true or false? Where is it? Oh, yeah, there it is. No, that's nah. Sorry, I missed that. Xbox biggest competitor isn't PlayStation anymore. It's now Steam. True or false? Keep in mind, Steam is also now in the living room with this Steam machine.
False.
False. Explain.
I mean, like, first of all, on PC, it's not even a competition, dude. Like, it's not like you can make. If I was a sports guy, I would give you a football analogy or something to say, like, they're not even in the same realm. Like, Steam is so far ahead in the PC ecosystem that ain't no one checking for Xbox on the PC ecosystem. Exactly, and then you flip that to the console side. Ain't no one checking. Like the Steam machine was the biggest known. What's the phrase? Non-starter in the history of non-starters. It was the most the biggest whimper of like, oh, it's gone. We thought it was a thing, but it was never a thing. So no, it's not. Like both fronts. On console front, Xbox as a brand is just so much more powerful, so much more significant that there's nothing, especially the Steam machine with its current pricing, like there's nothing. Like, they're not even on the same realm. On PC, it's exactly the same thing for Xbox. It's not even a conversation for Steam.
Sure. Kenwell, what's your take?
Yeah, false. Sony had to go to Steam. So I just think they're competing in two different ways. Like people still don't really understand the Steam machine. They're just trying to get Steam OS in front of more people. That's what the Steam Deck and the Steam machine is. It's a like what you said, it's a mini PC. So if you want to use a computer that can be carried around, that's what it is. It's not if you want to put a console in your living room, but it's Steam. So like I think people still don't understand it because yes, like it looks and acts as a console, but it's not a console. Steam is trying to utilize their Steam OS and put it more globally. It reach a bigger audience. It's not trying to compete the same way Sony is trying to compete.
Because he says, I still don't care about exclusives. I was calling for Halo multiplayer to go PS5 for years before Xbox went.
Whoa.
Oh, you're an Xbox guy, Fuzzy? That seems very controversial. So Rich's response to the true or false is false. Steam isn't actively trying to kill Xbox. Young Sandwiches says true again. You can't beat Gabe, and Xbox wants to compete in the PC market. And if Steam was on either platform, neither would stand a chance. A few more questions before I let you guys bounce off. Nintendo is more of a threat now to Xbox and PlayStation than they were during the N64 and GameCube era. True or false?
Nintendo, what people don't understand about Nintendo is that Nintendo has effectively fucked up Sony so badly where it matters the most to both of those companies, which is Japan. Nintendo owns Japan. And people don't get this. People that are like Western gamers, they always say, no, Nintendo and Sony are not competing. They're different markets. No, fuck. Where it matters, which is the home country. Sony used to dominate so much during the PS1, the PS2 era. Right now, they have nothing. Like Nintendo has got them by the chokehold. So in terms of Nintendo, yes, Nintendo has Xbox has never competed with Nintendo in any front or form, but in terms of Nintendo competing against Sony, Nintendo has effectively beaten Sony on every front where it matters. And when they compete directly with each other is Japan, which is why Sony wants to release a handheld again, because they have nothing in Japan. They're being outsold 5-1, 3-1, depending on the year you want to choose. Nintendo is super dominant right now in gaming. They're probably the most dominant. They're more dominant than Sony. The only difference is if you look at numbers and you look at the West, that sort of suggests a different story. And of course, the console releases don't align 100%. But right now, Nintendo dominates Sony. They have been doing that since the Wii.
Richie agrees. He says Nintendo have access to more games now more than ever. Kenwell, how about you?
This is a good question. This is a pretty good fucking question. I would say I'm going to go with now being a bigger threat. I'm going to go with false because I think the Switch 2 highlights something that puts Nintendo in a really bad position is their consoles are going to become more expensive. And I feel like their audience is not ready for that compared to a PlayStation audience who's willing to buy something at a premium price. I feel like PlayStation consumers would be willing to buy something at that high of a price compared to a Nintendo consumer, because that was one of the reasons why the Switch did so well, Switch 1. But at least in the West here, I've been to one house that had a Switch 2. I've been to one house that had a Switch 2. Everybody's still rocking Switch 1. And the Switch 2 is it's getting to that point where I think it's 400 something. And people are just not willing. I'm not willing to pay that much for the Switch 2. Now, eventually I will. But I think now that their consoles are getting more expensive. And remember, the Switch 2 focuses on third-party games. It put an emphasis on that. Where do they go next? Because if they start putting the emphasis, I know technology gets smaller, the chips and all of that, but are they going to try getting, is the console going to get beefier? What are they going to do? I don't think that's going to happen. But again, it going up in price, are Nintendo consumers that comfortable with that. So that's the reason why I say false as being a bigger of a threat.
Richie says the Switch 2 will run COD better than the Series S. Whoa, what? No, I don't think so. I like listen, Microsoft lets that even happen.
That's a yes or no. Like, well, again, if you look at the hardware, DLSS is just so far more superior than any sort of like upscaling you can do with FSR, which is what the Series S has. So in some aspects, like for instance, if you want to look into what he's saying, go look at how well Cyberpunk runs on the Series S versus the Switch 2.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I think I get what you're saying there, because I think some people did point out that like the tech was working out well. Next question to everyone. PlayStation as of 2026 July 31, they no longer have a clear strategy. Cautious.
I agree. I have no idea what the fuck Sony's doing. And the only thing I can think that Sony's doing is they're like, this shit is fucked. We just need to collect as much money as we can and get the fuck out. That's the only thing I can see them doing, because they're not trying to cultivate an audience. They have not given their audience anything that they've wanted this entire generation.
And well, same as well.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with it. It's just not. It's like, we know this shit is about to burst, and they're just like, all right, fuck it, we got to just keep doing it. It's like money printing. It's like, yeah, it's crashing it's crashing our dollar, but you know what? This is the system. We're just gonna keep fucking doing it, because I do think they have focus with their they want to keep doing these single player narrative games, but it's like they're just like, you know what? Let's just focus on this, and then let's forget about what got us here. And I think that's my problem from being I wasn't really into Sony when I was a kid, until the PlayStation 4. But like hearing more people talk about Sony and just remembering the output of games they used to put out, because I played the PlayStation 2, I'm like, holy shit, this is a completely different company. And I felt like with the PlayStation 5 generation, they could go back to those kind of games because they could do smaller games with the live service initiative. They just went back on the live service initiative. And I'm like, are you guys trying to grow your audience? This just doesn't make sense. And you said that so correctly, Ausius. I don't know how PlayStation is growing their audience. I feel like they are at the point where they're comfortable and they just want to appeal to the casuals more than the hardcore audience. And they've just forgotten about the hardcore audience. Like, yes, I agree with them abandoning the disc. I'm like, it had to come at some point. But yo, they just dropped that shit. like there is no ushering in. They're just like, fuck it, deal with it. It's like, what are you doing? The hardcore is supporting your single player narrative games. Why are you just screwing them over? So it just seems like they don't. It seems like their focus is off. They are focused, but they're focused on completely the wrong shit that matters.
Mm-hmm.
And they fumble. I can say now it's 2026. They fumbled the PlayStation 5 generation. They completely fumbled. How did you guys? They really need to be looked at with this live service shit, because holy shit, bro. I think the live service initiative is as bad as Rocksteady doing a fucking live service game. Like, it was that bad. Like, you saw all the mistakes. Like, that was what I thought they had an advantage of with the live service games. You saw how many live service games crash and burn. And you did the same shit they did. What the fuck is like? What are we doing? Like, Last of Us Online. Oh yeah, we didn't know a live service game was gonna transform our studio. What? Look, what do you saw Rockstar? Like, yo, Rockstar had single player DLC planned for GTA 5, and then GTA Online blew up, and it pivoted. Like, do you know how much Rockstar had to change because of GTA Online? It's like, give me a break that you guys did not know this was coming.
You know, I was gonna ask like, oh, what's the next question? What's the worst generation ever? But like, as soon as you said PS5 sucks, I was like, okay, yeah, sure. Guess out the window. Listen, young someone just says live service pushing digital only, literally removing content out of people's accounts with no remarks. So yeah, he agrees. This is the worst. Here's one. True or false? Xbox has made the worst gaming decisions, compounding more than PlayStation. The context of this would be you need to consider the PS Vita.
Yeah,
you need to consider the PS3.
Like, takes the like we don't need to deliberate in terms of Xbox L's. like I just think like my man, like there's memes like the rake, like come on, dude, like we just
The Xbox One,
bro, my man, like every like unfortunately for Xbox, even when they were winning or doing well, they still had L's like the Red Ring of Death. So like,
yeah.
like nobody has taken more L's in the gaming business and just. But I'll say this: no one has been more tenacious in sticking it out. Like Sony would have never survived the sort of L's that Xbox has survived in gaming.
And you know what? Yeah, maybe that's why Sony didn't make those L's, because they were like, if we make this kind of L's, we're out of business. But Xbox is like, well, we got money to just kind of outspend our way out of it. Like, so yeah, let's just keep fucking.
Exactly. These like they still standing like after some of the biggest sort of like. How do you give your entire like exclusive library to your competition and then change your mind and say, oh, that was a mistake? But we're still Sega would have never been able to come back from. No one would have been able to come back from that. So I would say, no one has made more. No one is taking more L's in gaming than Xbox.
Xbox for sure.
The funny thing is that I bought a PS5 because I thought they were about to put out a ton of exclusive multiplayer games. Yeah, honestly, like I thought Sony's PlayStation multiplayer push was going to be interesting because I thought they were going to bring something new from their single player side towards the multiplayer. The example I was thinking about was the Last of Us factions. Like, imagine a Last of Us like game, except it's not co-op. It's like 5 players, and you all like doing the missions together. You're all like building a base. I thought Sony had a real good opportunity to do something different and unique than a console game.
Like, dude, they had over 10 live service games. Now imagine all right. They're not gonna land, but you're getting content.
Mm-hmm.
So you're getting content, and then we knew they were working on the single player games. So now you're getting both. So that's why I was like, yo, the PlayStation 5 generation is going to be pretty cool because now you're getting multiplayer games. And then they're like, nah, we fucked up because we didn't know what we're doing. And we're just going to go back to just appealing to our casuals. And you're going to get God of War Laufe.
Yeah. I think that's what the question. I do have one, but I think I already know the answer to it. So I guess we could. I'll just ask it anyway. The Xbox IPs such as Halo and Gears, in comparison to Nintendo's Zelda and Mario Kart and PlayStation's, The Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima, whatever, the Xbox IPs are washed. True or false?
False.
We're counting all of them, even the ones they just bought.
False. Completely false.
Yeah, you have to say false. You have to say false.
And I want to go first. The only reason they are washed It's because fucking Phil Spencer did fuck all with them. Like, dude, when is the last time like Xbox put effort into making a great and amazing Halo game? Case in point, and I'll put guys, please hold me to this. Everything I've seen about Gears of War E-Day, from the multiplayer reception to how the actual single player was received, Halo E-Day is gonna go down as probably the generation-defining game for the Xbox Series X and S. Because of the fact that a studio that actually cares about the game, that's actually put effort into the game to make sure that it's got that spit shine polish that Phil Spencer did not care about because everything was going on Game Pass. Including fucking Starfield. That game, when I put it to you, and this is my predictions. If I'm wrong, please hold me to this. Gears of War is going to score a 90 plus Metacritic score. It's going to sell, even as an exclusive, it's going to be one of the best selling Xbox Series X and S games this generation. It's going to knock every metric that it's given out of the win. It's not going to do as well as Starfield or whatever because that's a bigger and much more, depending on the marketing, of course. But it's still, for what it is, it's still going to do better than any Xbox IP out there. And that proves that the IPs are not washed. It's because you're fucking putting money into fucking South of Midnight and Hellblade and whatever and all this fucking hippie shit that nobody wants to play. like no, they're not washed. Like those are evergreen. Like I put it to you that like I think Last of Us 3 does not have as much appeal as an IP like a Forza or a Gears, because those go beyond like just story. They have multiplayer. They have so many other facets to them, and that's what made them evergreen. And Phil Spencer tapped none of that.
Yeah.
Since young Sandwich's touch of comment was funny. Which was he says, true, you need to release games in order to have IPs. Laugh my ass off. And he says State of Decay was supposed to be like Xbox version of Last of Us.
Yeah.
Which is, true. True or false? Which studio is more valuable? Insomniac from Sony side, or the Coalition, Gears of War?
Fuck. This is hard. I think a lot of people would go with the easy, but it's not that easy because I have to go with Insomniac. I have to go with Insomniac.
I'll go with Insomniac.
It might. I think the reason why I find it a little difficult is Insomniac has the licensing shit. Yeah. So they are, their games sell very well, but their profit is going to keep shrinking because the game budgets keep going up. So that's the reason why I'm like, with Coalition, at least they have their own IP and their own engine, right?
Yeah.
No,
they use
Unreal. They use Unreal. Okay.
Yeah, they use Unreal. Yeah.
They are the experts. Outside
that's right. They did.
Outside the actual Epic Studios, they're probably the best studio to make you a game. Unreal. So this is, again, to me, I agree with Kenwell on that take, but there's one thing I think we're not considering, right? So if we said we're taking away Spider-Man from Insomniac, and we look at Insomniac based on their own IPs, who the fuck gives a fuck about, like, what is that game that they had on PS3?
Sunset Overdrive.
Resistance?
Resistance Fall of Man. Compare that to Gears. That means nothing. Nobody gives a fuck about fucking Resistance.
Yeah.
The only IP, then of course, what is it? Ratchet and Clank?
Yeah.
Like, if you compare their unique IPs to the Coalition's unique IPs that I suppose they just work on Gears. Then you have better perspective. But if I'm giving you the biggest brand in the world, which is Spider-Man right now, breaking endgame records, then that's a different story.
Yeah, that's an interesting take. Yeah, here to go. Well, listen, true or false was fun. I got a lot of true or false questions. Some are a little bit obvious. Some of them are a little bit not so much. Some of them are like the next generation will be defined by ecosystem, not consoles. True or false?
Like, for the first time, I don't know what's happening next.
Yeah.
I have no fucking clue. I'm not even gonna pretend, dude. I don't know what's gonna happen.
I think that's true. I think it's true because the PlayStation 6 is never even getting a PlayStation 6 game.
Do you know what? Apart even add into that, if you think about it, Sony's moving towards a handheld now, and it's going to be separate like the PSP and the PlayStation 3. It's going to be unified.
Yeah,
but the PS6 games will work on the PlayStation handheld, and already Nintendo's already doing that with the console and the Switch with the console and the handheld version. Xbox is doing the same thing as well. Everyone is moving towards an ecosystem, some faster than the others, but overall they're moving towards the ecosystem. I mean, Steam has just moved into the living room, right? They moved into the handheld space like 7 years ago. So it seems like everyone's like going towards this kind of ecosystem play now to catch new users or to do whatever. So yeah, I think I think it's a fair statement. Like it's true, but the severity of it is the question, right? So, but listen, guys, it was a fun chat. I think we're doing this for 2 hours 5 minutes now. We don't need to do 3 hours. We can all drop it here and actually go play video games. The thing you're actually talking about. Yeah. Also, before you sign off, what games are you gonna play later this weekend?
So I just downloaded Halo Combat Evolved. Sorry, Campaign Evolved. So I'm going to
kill the women soldiers.
I saw that, I'm like, come on, guys! Like, what are we doing?
That's so stupid, bro.
Why? Like, why is this a thing? Like, how did we get here? Like, that you have to. So yeah, so I'm definitely gonna play.
Someone was killing female soldiers.
All right, so somebody so somebody was literally taking their Magnum pistol and blowing out the male soldiers like brains. So you can kill the male soldiers, but you can't kill any of the female soldiers. It's just so like something so small, but it's just like you guys. It's something small, but it just highlights they fucking focused on that. Like someone was in the room was like, no, we can't kill the women soldiers. Don't. But you can kill all the male ones.
So I don't know, Carol, if you saw the update from the guy who was the original guy who posted that video. So he went on to say that the reason why he thinks you can kill the females, or you can't kill the female soldiers, is that in the original Halo there were no female soldiers. So when they put them into this remake, the hitboxes were out of range compared to the original hitboxes that they had. So that was his explanation. Say, well, because they redesigned the characters, they didn't think about the fact that, okay, cool, someone's gonna try and shoot these people, so we need to create those same hitbox. So but like again, the fact that someone thought about that to me is just like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing? But no, wait. Honestly, after like my mind was like, is it like this is true? I was like I mean, the reason like, it makes sense. Like, and the reason that you're saying is good, but like I thought about what Ken said. Like somebody sat out the room, like, yeah, we can't kill the women.
But there's a possibility that somebody did. We can't kill the woman. We don't know. This was the guy who made the video, and then he explained himself like, I just do headshots. I'm a competitive gamer, and the reason I did this was and why I think this happened is because of the fact that I think it's when they sort of like took the code from the original code and then they added female soul, which they weren't in the original Halo. There were no female Marines or whatever. And then he explained. I was like, okay, that makes sense. But like again, like this is not why I play video games, guys. Like this is I'm not out to prove points, and then like this is
yeah. Well,
I'll let you. Yeah,
I mean, someone's gonna like hack the game or whatever. Look at the
Yeah.
code, man, and they're gonna see like no,
I'm
no,
sure
no. They
they-
inputted a code specifically that says this, and
Yeah.
then that's how we'll find out. That just sounds so bizarre. Like to me, it's like, why? What are we doing here? Like,
Yeah.
it just sounds
And
so-
it's M-rated too. And I'm like,
Yeah.
have you seen the shit Mortal Kombat does? Like, Mortal Kombat doesn't give a fuck.
They don't.
Like,
But you see, Mortal Kombat does something else that's weird. So we can rip spines out, we can pull people's whatever, but we can't have you show cleavage. Like it's shit like that to me. that just makes sense.
this
Like,
shit, yeah.
you can't make the girls sexy, but you can fucking tear them in half, like and like look at like their lungs and they're like, and I'm like, okay, wow, a way
Yeah.
to prioritize morality in your games.
yeah.
Like it's
It's a game. It's a fucking game.
So Halo campaign involved is what you're gonna be playing.
Yeah.
Are you looking to like finish the campaign story or just like
Yeah, it's
a
like
little bit?
people say it's like 6-7 hours. It's not that.
Okay. Do
Which
you
is
ever
not-
play the game with like co-op with friends, like, or is it just like us? You do
If I've got one friend who's like a huge Halo head, so I'll see if he's on. And I also actually downloaded Gears Reloaded, which I never played. So I just want to revisit those original Xbox classics
Mhm.
and just finish them this weekend. 'Cause
Speaking
the
of
nice thing
Gears,
about-
I sent like the gameplay trailer, like the multiplayer trailer to a few of the guys on one of my group chats who don't play Xbox, like whatever, and they saw the multiplayer trailer and they were like, "Oh shit, that looks good." I was like, "Oh, I'll get it on." Like, they were actually like, "That looks good," and it just kind of highlighted to me that, like, to get these people to actually to buy a console, you need more of those kind of like, "Oh shit," that, like, you need to make them jealous.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, like, this generation, I have never I have been jealous, you could say, of PlayStation's games, exclusive games, aka the time exclusive ones and their first party output. But there's no Xbox game that I look at this generation. Maybe you could point to maybe Forza or whatever it is. But there isn't as many Xbox games that I look at them like, because a PlayStation guy, I'm like, oh man, I really want to play that. Starfield, yeah, but that's about kind of it.
Yeah.
So the way these guys are talking about the Gears game, it was giving that vibe of like, oh, I wish I kind of had that on my platform. And you need them to want that. Like, oh, like there's 5 games now that I wish were my platform, and then they'll probably go buy your console.
Yeah. But like,
Go ahead.
one last thing, sorry, to interrupt you there. Taye. One last thing we didn't talk about is the fact that, like, people are not talking about the fact that like she's actually turned the picture around for hardware. Xbox hardware sales are up. They're the only people whose hardware sales are up year on year versus Nintendo and Sony.
That's crazy.
And what I'm really interested with what Asha's talking about is the 2027 stuff. Like, I don't know, like when they say like, oh, we're gonna go back to profitability. I'm like, oh, why? Like, what is it? Is it because you fired all these people? You got rid of all these like what, freeloaders you want to call them?
Yes and no. Yes and no.
It's like, man, like, you know how much these guys are draining us? Like 100 million for South of Midnight and the Greenlit Part 2? Who I just imagine her saying like, wait, who Greenlit Part 2? And she's looking at my booty like, what? And I was thinking to myself, like, the fact that, these dudes are making Obsidian was making a different game and Avowed 2, and she got that. She's like, why wait, Avowed 2 failed. We know that. We know we lost money. So somebody in this room greenlit Part 2 of a failed game. Who did that? Stand up, please. I'm just like, oh yeah, that's me. And she's like, bro, you're gonna get it soon, man. I can't do it now, but trust me, like, you're getting the hell out of my company like in a few years. Because it's true. Like I would feel under pressure if the games I'm greenlighting, the new CEO comes out and says like, I should just changing it because like, oh yeah, whatever. She because she's like, no, this game sucks. Like, I will be so much under pressure. So yeah. Cam, well, sorry about that. What are you about to say?
No. I don't think I was about to say anything.
You playing against? You're still playing GTA and
I'm gonna be playing this weekend. This weekend, I'm not gonna be playing GTA. I'm gonna be playing Destiny. I'm gonna be playing some Destiny too. I got to do the raid for it. So.
I don't know. Destiny was a game that I really wanted to get into, like when it first came out.
Yeah.
I was just like, yo, why is this story like
so bad?
Yeah, I was like, I was like, wait, you guys made Halo? Like,
yeah.
Why? How did this happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Halo story is also ass, bro.
But Destiny didn't have any story at all.
Yeah, Destiny you had to read fucking these things called Grimoire cards.
It was like they just made a live service game and they were like, yeah, enjoy the live service multiplayer part of it. I'm like, okay, but where's the story? Like, why am I killing things? And they're like, oh, here's a card that you can read that tells you about why you should be killing things. I was like, bro, like, what are we doing here?
That's some shit.
I think Destiny 2 tried to kind of fix it a little bit, but by then I was checked out.
Yeah.
I still reckon. Sorry, like I still reckon like Bungie's best story game is Halo Reach because it's a standalone, self-contained story.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be following the fucking precursors and the forerunners and all this other shit. Like the mythology is so vast, but I don't know. I don't think it's very well told. Halo Reach is about survival, and it's such a straightforward military Halo. If you asked me to greenlight a movie for a Halo game, it would be Halo Reach.
Yeah.
You could make that. You could give it to a director that like who's this guy who did Fury, and he would make you a killer Halo Reach. That's just how good and gripping and based on like characters that story was. What is that guy? He's the same guy that did the Suicide Squad, not James Gunn. The original one. David Ayer. You could give David Ayer the script to do Halo Reach, and I promise you, he would make you a fucking killer sci-fi. And he's never done sci-fi. I think he's done like comic, but he's never done sci-fi. I think he could kill that. Like I would love to see that.
Well, I imagine we're going to start seeing more like Xbox TV. I mean, we already know we're going to see it. I guess for the question for Halo is, do they reboot the TV show and do everything completely new? Do they follow from what was done before, or did I just say no? Let's make a movie instead. Like, what do you guys think?
I think they need to give it a break with the TV stuff, the live action stuff. I think they should. I actually think they should. No, I do think they should go back to it eventually, but they should do something. If they do go back, it needs to be animated. Okay. I'll say that, but it needs to be a break.
Did you enjoy Fallout?
I couldn't get into the Fallout show because I'm not a Fallout fan.
That's why.
Yeah, I'm not a Fallout fan. So I'm like, I watched the first season and I was like, yeah, that was cool, but yeah.
So what Ken is saying is that he's not seen a quality full product from Xbox.
But Fallout is because it's like one of the top shows. So I can't.
I've watched it. Yes, it is.
Yeah, I can't really. I'm not the judge of that. So.
Yeah.
All right, guys, listen. So Fuzzy says he's one bonus mission left in Halo campaign evolved. I enjoyed the hell out of it. He says he got early access with reward points, and I know young. Why I keep saying young stud, man? What's going on here? I have no idea. Young sandwiches.
It's studs in your mind, man.
Yeah. I'm looking to 100% Black Flag resynced, and I think listen, if I'm Ubisoft, I'm greenlighting all these remakes. Forget about even a new Splinter Cell game for a second. Just greenlight a remake of Splinter Cell 1 and 2. And no, do the Capcom playbook, right? And I think these developers will start seeing a lot of. I mean, it's the best way to make money. It's a very low cost, low effort IP or title, game. That's going to lead to high profit margins because everything's already done. The story is done, voice acting is done, all these things are done. So, but listen, I'm going to. I don't know what I'm going to play, but I think I want to catch up on some TV shows. Silo. episode 3 and then episode 4. I think it might be out, so I'm gonna give that a watch. That's gonna be pretty much it for me. I'm gonna watch Spider-Man tomorrow.
Hey.
I know someone who liked it. I know somebody else who hasn't said anything because they want me to watch it first. I know someone who said it was okay.
I saw it last night. I'm not gonna say anything.
Okay, cool.
I'll hit you up tomorrow.
All right, cool. You're not gonna watch it, right?
Nah, I'm good.
You're such a Marvel fraud. Like, I just
for me, dude. I think Endgame was it for me. Like, none of the stuff really interests me anymore. I was actually more fascinated with the Odyssey. Like, I want to go see it in IMAX, and I think we've got like one IMAX theater in our country, two, I think, in our country. So I want to go see that shit.
Also, yeah. You haven't seen the Odyssey yet?
No, I've seen it, but I haven't seen it in IMAX.
Did you like it?
Oh,
Yeah. Huh?
Did you
Dude,
like
it's like Christopher Nolan don't miss, bro. Like,
Do you know
like
what?
the movie gets you within like the first. A lot of people hate like they pretend to hate even on that intro with is it Travis Scott?
Yeah.
But it works for what he's doing. Like he gets you in there so quickly. Like he's like the what's the
Storyteller.
gaming? Yeah, he's like the I won't say Shingeru. He's like the Hideo Kojima of cinema.
Mm-hmm.
He's that good. Like
I watched it and I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I thought it was a very cinematic, epic movie to watch. I think he did a great job adapting it.
yeah.
I will say a few things though. In terms of entertainment, like I was like, oh wow, I'm so like happy. It doesn't beat Inception.
No,
I don't think anything. I agree. I don't think any of his movies after Inception has been as enjoyable as Inception.
Yeah. Well, see, for me, it was Inception, right? And then when Interstellar came out, I was like, oh shit, like because I love sci-fi and I love the whole story of Interstellar. I love the way it was, you know what I mean? So it gripped me straight away. Then, so I think what's actually more similar to the Odyssey is Oppenheimer. And the question was, which do I prefer, Oppenheimer or the Odyssey? But I prefer Oppenheimer.
really?
Yeah, I do. I think the story in Oppenheimer got me more. I was more interested in the characters and the story. I think the problem with the Odyssey story is like, I mean, it's a good story. Don't get me wrong at all. Like, because you know, when I saw my friend is like, oh, you didn't like? I was like, no. I'm talking about like 9 out of 10s and like 9.4, 9.3, 9.2. So like I'm talking about like it's all good. But the Odyssey to me is one where I think I was really influenced by the ending as well. I like the ending a lot. But if it didn't have that ending, I could have seen myself giving it like an 8 or an 8.5 out of 10. Whereas I think the Oppenheimer was a 9 for me. And so was like the other like products. Like it's a good movie. But I think the thing is like I can't see myself watching it again. Like I'm just like,
I really can. To me, it is a film that I would watch, but I would watch it like doing something else, and then maybe just tune into specific parts. Like, oh, I remember this part. This was pretty, like awesome. My only problem with Oppenheimer, I've never finished Oppenheimer, to be honest. I didn't see it in cinema. I tried to watch it several times in streaming, but I've never finished it. Like, that's my only thing. Maybe when I finish it, I can have a much more clearer idea. But to your point, what Ken was saying earlier on about in terms of, and I think you said it as well. To me, it's still Inception is his number one thing. Actually, no, it's his second. His number one film to me is the film he made earlier on that I saw earlier called The Prestige.
Hugh Jackman.
Okay. Yep.
That is like, I've never seen a movie that left me so mind fucked at the end. I was like, what?
True.
Yeah, so that and then Inception and then probably The Dark Knight third.
That's I mean, yeah. You know, like, to me, his worst is Tenet. That was.
Yeah, I agree. I think we all agree that was. That was a pretentious piece of shit.
And they had to add the black lead. I was like, oh fuck. I'm joking.
You know what?
Nah, for real, bro.
You know what fucks me up about Tenet?
Well,
Is that Tenet doesn't even have the lead actor is called the protagonist.
That's what I'm saying. I was gonna say that.
Like, that is the most
He doesn't even have a name.
He doesn't even know. He's just called the protagonist. It's like a video. Tenet should have been a video game.
Yeah.
Not a full. Like, yeah, I agree. Like, I still don't. Nothing. Like, nothing makes sense. And the whole time, I'm just like, no, but guy, no. What do you mean? Nah, none of this makes sense. Like, huh?
I remember seeing like the fight scenes in Tenet and like when like you had to hit something and the camera would just like teleport to it and I'm like, why? Wait, why can't we see the violence? Like it was like, what is this? And it was like a 12A or something. I was like, why is this movie like this? Like Tenet is I think it's interesting enough. Just the problem is I think like what Nolan probably needed is, to be honest with you, somebody to just be like, let's amend the story a little bit and let's actually make some proper action sequences.
Make it a proper James Bond spy movie.
Yeah, they could have done that. Yeah.
Take away all the time bullshit. Like that should just fucking
the time shit really messed it up. Like how it was like, oh, it was a circle, and it was like, what the fuck? Nah, bro. But I'm like, that's why I'm like, yo, his name was the protagonist. That's bullshit. I've never seen some lazy shit like that, bro.
It's like, yo, I didn't want to make this movie, so I'm gonna tell you indirectly by calling this guy the protagonist to show you that this script is bullshit, and I didn't even finish it, man.
I'm not even gonna give him a name. I'm just gonna give him the same premise as every video game character. 90s and early 2000s game, like the GTA thing.
But yo, Robert Pattinson, in the Odyssey, man, he's good. He's really good. And also, I really like Anne Hathaway. I love the acting when she was like giving out to Tom Holland. Man, the emotion of that was good. I thought I think his name is like Robert Bathrow, the guy who did Punisher. I thought he was good too as well. I thought Tom Holland did his role well. I think Matt Damon was supposed to be like this kind of like very like Halo-like character, like not very emotional. So I think he did that role well as well. Lupita, I wasn't crazy about the
not needed.
Yeah, when I was done, I was kind of like,
you know what I said?
It's like so irrelevant to the story.
You know what I said?
Well,
they should have swapped Lupita and Zendaya's role.
Yeah.
That would have made more sense. People have been upset about Athena, but she's a goddess. Who gives a fuck? But yeah, like they should have swapped those two roles. I think
I think that would have been a better switch, because when I was watching, I remember coming and I was like, yo, what? Like Lupita didn't do it. Like I was like, nah, I didn't like that at all. Like I just felt like she. I don't get the acting. I don't get everything. Just seemed like odd.
I hate the way they cast Lupita. Like I hate it when they cast dark-skinned women in these. Like,
beating up. You're fucking beating up. I hate that shit too.
I hate that shit, dude.
Like she had the scars.
I hate that shit. I don't know why they always choose that person. Even in that movie, it's the one with the monsters. The one, what's it called? The
Quiet Place?
With the what? Yeah, is it what? A Quiet Place, no?
Quiet Place,
yeah.
She did the most recent one.
Yeah, there was that one. Yeah,
they made her look so unattractive, and I'm like, why do you want to do this,
bro?
Like, I hated that shit. Like,
I hate that shit. She was like a dude, like with the hat. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yes.
Like what?
Like I hate it when they do that to dark-skinned actors, because they never give Zendaya a role like that. Like that's what pisses me off, is that Zendaya does not have roles like that. All Zendaya's roles, she looks like a supermodel.
Well, I would say the Zendaya she gets the benefit of both. That's what I don't like. Because in Euphoria, she's like a drug fiend in Euphoria. But then there's roles where she gets to sexy it up, or she can be not the not so sexy, but not ugly. So it's like light mixed and white actresses, they get all the fucking pickings. But dark skinned actresses, they don't get shit.
I hate that shit. That annoys me to no end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, it was like 2 hours and we were supposed to be done, and now it's 2 hours 30 minutes. So,
Hey.
I apologize for provoking you with topics. Listen, to the guys who showed up, thanks for coming through. It was a good chat. I enjoyed the true or false questions and you guys participating. Fuzzy, Rachie showed up as well, and Young Stand. It's because my freaking system blocks out the name, so I just see Young and I see S, so it just kind of like clicks like it's saying stud. But listen, guys, I had a great time. Kenwell and Ushers, see you guys next week or so. Ushers, you say you're back now. Everything is sorted out, so you'll be seeing a bit more of you.
Yeah, definitely. The next couple of weeks, I'll definitely back up. I'll hit you guys up. Fuzzy, Rachie, definitely looking forward to seeing you guys again.
All right, cool. Awesome.
And everyone else.
All right, peace out, guys.